You can be the smartest person in the room and still be ignored if you can't express your value. Communication is the bridge between who you are and what the world sees. You'll never get the job, their relationship, or the respect you want if your words confuse more than they connect. Great communicators build great lives because influence begins with clarity. No one is born a great speaker. Most are just afraid to say something wrong. The ones who improve are the ones who speak anyway, fail anyway, and learn anyway. What if better communication could change your life? What if knowing how to express yourself clearly helped you build stronger relationships, land your dream job, or finally speak up without fear? What if the only thing standing between you and your next big opportunity is the way you talk, listen, and connect with people? Most of us speak every day, but few of us stop to ask, are we really being understood? Or are we just talking and hoping someone gets it? Communication is more than words. It's confidence, clarity, and connection. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real, honest, and intentional. In this video, we're breaking down how to improve your communication skills in a simple, practical way you can start using today. No fluff, just results. If you're ready to speak with confidence, connect more deeply, and be truly heard, then let's dive in. Chapter 1. Practice active listening in every conversation daily. Most people walk through life feeling unheard, misunderstood, and disconnected from others. They talk, but no one really listens. They speak, but the other person is just waiting for their turn to reply. If you've ever spoken your heart out to someone and realized they didn't catch a word you said, you know exactly how frustrating that feels. You feel small, you feel invisible, and then you stop trying. But here's the thing, if you want real relationships, real impact, and real growth, you have to start by doing something most people never do. Listen with intention. I mean, really listen, not just to reply, not just to check a box, but to understand. That's the beginning of powerful communication. That's where transformation starts, and that's where we begin. Now, active listening isn't a trick or a fancy strategy. It's daily habit. It's a way of showing the person in front of you that they matter, that their words aren't floating in the air. They're landing on someone who values them. Most people think communication is about talking better. But the truth is, the strongest communicators are the best listeners. Because when you listen with focus, you can speak with precision. When you fully hear what others are saying, you stop guessing, you stop assuming, and you start responding in a way that connects. That's how trust is built. That's how influence begins. Listening starts with presence, and presence means putting everything else aside. No phone in your hand, no distractions pulling at your focus. Just two people in a moment, one speaking, one truly listening. That's rare these days, and that's why it's powerful. Most people have forgotten how to be present. They're in conversations, but mentally they're somewhere else. You can't connect that way. If you're always halfway in and halfway out, you'll never build strong relationships. You'll never understand what really matters to people. You'll only hear surface words, and you'll miss the deeper message underneath. Let me tell you what active listening looks like. It means you give your full attention. It means you listen, not just to the words, but to the tone, the feeling, the energy behind them. People will tell you a lot more than what they say directly. If you're paying attention, listen to what they're emphasizing. Notice when their voice changes, when their body shifts, when their pace slows down. Those are the signals that matter. That's where the truth lives. You won't find that if you're already planning your response while they're still talking. We've got to unlearn the habit of interruption. It's a sign that we're prioritizing our voice over theirs. Interrupting says, what I have to say is more important than what you're saying. And even if that's not what you mean, that's how it feels. Over time, that damages your relationships. People start pulling away. They stop opening up. They stop trusting you with their thoughts because they've learned you're not really there for them. Active listening rebuilds that trust. It tells the other person, I'm here, I'm listening, I care. Now this isn't easy, especially if you've gone years just waiting for your turn to talk. It takes effort to slow down, to shut down the voice in your head that wants to jump in, but it's worth it. Because every time you do it, every time you give someone your full attention, you're not just improving your communication, you're building something solid, something lasting. That's where your influence grows. Not in how loud you speak, but in how deeply you hear. Practice this every single day. Don't wait. For important meetings or special occasions, do it in your daily conversations with your family, your coworkers, your friends. When someone talks to you, stop what you're doing. Face them. Look at them. Show them they matter and listen without rushing to judge, without rushing to fix, without rushing to respond. Just hear them. You'd be surprised how powerful that alone can be. And here's something else. Reflect what you hear, not to repeat like a parrot, but to show understanding. Say things like, so, what you're saying is, or it sounds like you're feeling. This lets the other person know that you got the message, that you're not just nodding, but actually taking it in. This builds connection. It makes the conversation real, and it helps you respond in a way that actually fits what's being said, not what you thought was being said. You see, most misunderstandings come from poor listening. We assume, we guess, we jump to conclusions, and then we respond to something that wasn't even said. That's how confusion happens. That's how trust breaks. But when you practice active listening, you clear up all the fog. You stay with the facts, you understand what's being said, and more importantly, why it's being said. That's powerful. It doesn't matter how smart you are, or how many words you know. If you don't listen, well, your communication will always fall short, because people don't just want information. They want connection. They want to feel heard. And when you give them that, you stand out in your career, in your relationships, in your life. That's what remember, that's what draws others to you. Not how loud you speak, but how deeply you listen. This takes daily commitment. It's not something you turn on once and forget. It's a mindset, a posture, a discipline. And the more you practice, the sharper you get. You'll start noticing things you missed before. You'll catch the small details, the subtle emotions. You'll become more patient, more empathetic, more present. And that changes how people experience you. They'll start opening up more. They'll start trusting you more. They'll start coming to you. Not because you have all the answers, but because you're one of the few who truly listens. And as you grow in this, your confidence will rise. Because you'll stop fearing conversations. You'll stop worrying about what to say next. You'll start showing up with calm, with clarity, with strength, because when you're listening, well, your responses are sharper. Your words carry more weight. You don't need to say a lot. You just need to say what matters, and that only comes when you first listen. Chapter 2, Maintain eye contact to build instant connection. Many people experience a silent barrier in conversations without realizing why. They find themselves talking but feeling disconnected, as if the other person is somewhere else entirely. This happens because communication is not just about the words we speak, it is about connection. And connection starts with something very simple yet incredibly powerful: eye contact. When you look into someone's eyes, you're saying something far deeper than any words could express. You are showing attention, respect, and openness. Yet this simple act is often overlooked or avoided because it can feel uncomfortable or intimidating. The truth is, Most people do not realize how much power they give away when they fail to look others in the eye. Eye contact is the doorway to trust. It is the spark that ignites understanding and the glue that holds conversations together. The moment you lock eyes with someone, a connection happens instantly. It is natural. It is human. Eyes reveal emotions, sincerity, and intentions. They show whether you are fully present or distracted. When you avoid eye contact, even subconsciously, you create a distance. The other person senses this distance. They feel your hesitation, your nervousness, or your lack of interest. This creates a barrier that no words can easily break down. When you maintain eye contact, you build a bridge. You communicate courage and confidence without saying a word. You invite honesty and openness. You become someone worth listening to. Many people struggle with eye contact because of fear. Fear of judgment, fear of being vulnerable, fear of being caught off guard. But this fear fades away when you realize eye contact is not about staring or intimidating the other person. It is about balance. It is about sharing. A moment of genuine presence. When your eyes meet another's, you are telling them they matter. You are acknowledging their worth. This simple act makes conversations feel richer, fuller, and more meaningful. Eye contact allows you to read the room. It gives you clues about how the other person is feeling. Their eyes can reveal hesitation, excitement, confusion, or agreement. If you pay close attention, you can adjust your message to meet their needs. This creates a dynamic interaction where both people feel heard and understood. Eye contact keeps you connected to the real emotion behind the words. It prevents conversations from becoming empty exchanges. This is what separates ordinary talks from powerful conversations. Building this skill requires practice. And awareness starts small by making eye contact with people you encounter daily, like cashiers or colleagues. Notice how it changes the interaction. Most times you will find the conversation becomes warmer and more engaging. It shows you respect the other person. It also boosts your own confidence as you grow comfortable with this essential skill. Over time, you will naturally maintain eye contact during longer and deeper conversations, strengthening your connection and influence. Eye contact also strengthens your message. When you speak while looking into someone's eyes, your words carry more weight. People pay more attention because they feel your sincerity. Your voice becomes clearer and your expressions more genuine. This increases your credibility and persuasiveness. People trust you because they can see your honesty reflected back in their eyes. This is a powerful form of communication that cannot be faked. These reveal your true feelings, making your message authentic and compelling. In moments of disagreement or tension, eye contact plays a vital role. It shows you're engaged and willing to understand. It helps calm heated exchanges by reminding both parties that there is a human being behind the words. When you avoid eye contact during conflict, it creates suspicion and defensiveness. It feels like avoidance or disrespect. But when you maintain steady eye contact, you demonstrate courage and openness to resolve issues respectfully. This helps build stronger relationships even when opinions differ. There are cultural differences to consider with eye contact, but the underlying principle remains universal. Attention and respect. In every culture, when you genuinely look someone in the eye, you communicate honesty. You open the door to deeper interaction. Understanding this can make your communication more effective in diverse settings. It teaches you to be mindful of how you use your gaze to connect rather than alienate. Some people worry that maintaining eye contact will make them look aggressive or uncomfortable. But the key is to be natural and relaxed. Eye contact should flow naturally with the rhythm of the conversation. Look long enough to show interest. then break away briefly to avoid staring. This creates a comfortable balance that puts everyone at ease. You want your eyes to invite connection, not cause discomfort. Practicing this balance builds your emotional intelligence and improves your ability to read and respond to others. Improving eye contact is also about understanding your own feelings. If you find yourself looking away, quickly ask, why is it nervousness, distraction, disinterest? Becoming aware of your reasons helps you overcome barriers. You gain control over how you present yourself to others. This self-awareness builds confidence, making your communication more effective. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Eye contact becomes an effortless part of your presence, a silent yet powerful tool in every conversation. The benefits of maintaining eye contact reach beyond personal conversations. In professional settings, it marks you as confident and trustworthy. Leaders who maintain eye contact command attention and respect. It signals that they are fully engaged and ready to listen, as well as lead. This inspires others to follow and trust their direction. Whether you are giving a presentation, negotiating, or coaching, eye contact anchors your message and connects you to your audience. Even in brief interactions like meeting someone new or introducing yourself, eye contact creates a positive impression. People remember those who look them in the eye. It shows you are sincere and interested in them. This opens doors to new opportunities and relationships. You become memorable, not because of flashy words, but because of the genuine connection you create with your gaze. The practice of maintaining eye contact is simple yet profound. It requires intention and courage. It requires stepping into the discomfort of being truly seen. But that is where growth happens. That is where you rise above surface-level conversations and connect on a human level. When you maintain eye contact, you communicate with your whole self, not just your voice. You invite others to do the same. This is the foundation for all meaningful communication. Making eye contact is not about dominating a conversation. It is about creating shared space. It is about letting the other person know you are there with them fully and sincerely. This presence builds trust quickly and deeply. It opens the door for honest exchange. It makes people feel valued. That is the heart of communication. That is how you improve every conversation you have. Start paying attention to your eyes in conversations. Notice when you look away too soon or avoid the gaze altogether. Practice holding eye contact just a little longer each time. Watch how it changes the energy. Feel the difference in connection. Over time, this simple practice transforms the way people experience you. Your words become more powerful because they are backed by genuine presence. Your relationships grow because they are built on trust. Your confidence rises because you learn to be seen without fear. Chapter 3. Think before you speak to stay clear. Most people find themselves in conversations where their words come out rushed, unclear, or even hurtful, without meaning to be. That moment when you say something and immediately regret it happens because speaking without thinking robs your message of clarity and impact. Words have power. They shape perceptions, build or break trust, and open or close doors. But too often people speak first and think later, creating confusion and misunderstanding. The truth is that clear communication starts with pause. It begins by choosing your words carefully before they leave your mouth. Thinking before you speak is not a sign of weakness or hesitation. It is a sign of strength, respect, and wisdom. Every time you open your mouth, you have a choice. You can fill the silence with noise, or you can fill it with meaning. Speaking clearly means your thoughts are organized in your mind before they reach your lips. When you think first, You reduce mistakes, misinterpretations, and unnecessary conflict. You avoid saying things that can be taken the wrong way or that cause harm. It also allows you to express yourself with confidence because your message is grounded in intention rather than impulse. This is where true influence begins, when people trust that what you say is thoughtful and reliable. The reality is that the world is full of rushed conversations and distracted speakers. People interrupt each other, jump to conclusions, and speak to be heard instead of to be understood. This creates noise and confusion everywhere. Many feel frustrated because they are not really connecting. Their message is lost in the chaos of hurried words. The solution lies in slowing down. Taking a moment to gather your thoughts before responding does not mean you are slow or unsure. It means you are deliberate. It means you respect yourself and the person you are talking to enough to communicate clearly. Thinking before speaking also requires self-awareness. You must be conscious of your emotions and your mental state. When emotions run high, anger, fear, excitement, it becomes even more important to pause. Speaking while emotionally charged often leads to words that are sharp, confusing, or even damaging. Taking a breath, counting to 3, or simply holding silence for a moment gives you time to regain control. This helps you choose words that reflect what you truly want to say, rather than what your emotions want to shout. Clarity in communication often starts with clarity within yourself. This practice is a skill you build intentionally. It begins by catching yourself when you want to jump in and speak immediately. Ask yourself what you want to convey. What is your goal in this conversation? What impact do you want your words to have? Once you answer these questions, your words become more focused. You avoid unnecessary tangents or confusing details. Your message becomes easier to follow. People respond better when your communication is clear and concise because they can understand you without effort. Another aspect of thinking before speaking is understanding your audience. Clear communication depends on knowing who you are talking to and what they need to hear. Tailor your message to fit their perspective. This means choosing words and examples they relate to. It means avoiding jargon or complex ideas that cloud your meaning. When you consider your listener first, your message becomes clearer and more effective. This is not about changing your truth, but about delivering it in a way that connects. Many miss this step because they fear silence or pauses. They think if they hesitate, they will lose attention or appear weak. But the opposite is true. Pausing before you speak shows confidence. It shows that you're in control of your words and your message. It creates space for others to absorb what you say. Silence is a powerful tool that enhances clarity. It allows your words to land with more impact instead of getting lost in a flood of speech. Learning to be comfortable with silence helps you become a clearer communicator. Thinking before speaking also helps in difficult conversations. When the stakes are high, the chance of miscommunication grows. The temptation to speak quickly or react emotionally is strong. But this is precisely when you must be most careful. Taking time to choose your words carefully can prevent misunderstandings that escalate conflicts. It helps you express your point without attacking or blaming. This creates room for resolution and respect. The clearer your communication in tough moments, the stronger your relationships become. This discipline requires practice and patience. Start by slowing your speech down. Consciously, put a brief pause before answering questions or sharing your thoughts. Notice how this affects the flow of conversation. People will appreciate your clarity and thoughtfulness. You will also feel more grounded and confident over time. Thinking before you speak becomes natural, and your communication transforms. You gain a reputation for being clear, calm, and wise. someone who others want to listen to. The habit of thinking before speaking extends beyond conversations. It influences how you write emails, give presentations, and handle conflicts. When you form your ideas clearly, first, your words have more impact in every form of communication. This leads to greater success professionally and personally. Clear communication is a cornerstone of leadership and influence. It opens doors and builds bridges that hurried or careless speech cannot. Your words shape your reality. When you learn to think before you speak, you begin to create a life of clarity and purpose. You reduce confusion and frustration for yourself and others. You become a source of calm and direction in chaotic moments. This ability to speak with intention lifts you above the noise and connects you deeply with those around you. It is one of the most valuable communication skills you can develop. Starting. This practice today changes your communication immediately. It may feel awkward at first because it requires breaking old habits, but the reward is worth every effort. You will find yourself more respected, more understood, and more influential. People will seek out your words because they know you speak with clarity and thoughtfulness. This transforms how you lead, how you relate, and how you succeed. Clear communication is not accidental. It is the result of deliberate choice. It comes from training your mind to slow down and focus on what matters. When you think before you speak, you own your words. You own your message. You create conversations that matter. That is how you improve your communication skills and rise in every area of life. Chapter 4. Use simple words to express complex ideas. It is a hard truth that many people struggle to get their message across because they try to sound smarter than they really are. They fill their sentences with complicated words, confusing phrases, or fancy jargon hoping it will impress. But instead they create barriers between themselves and their audience. Most of the time this makes communication less clear, less engaging, and less effective. When ideas are buried under complex language, people tune out, misunderstand, or feel overwhelmed. The reality is that the most powerful communicators use simple words to explain the most complicated ideas. Clarity is the foundation of influence. Everyday people are bombarded with information. Their minds are busy, distracted, and tired. When you speak or write with simplicity, you give them a gift. You make it easier for them to understand your message and act on it. Simple words are like a clear path through a dense forest. They help ideas move quickly and smoothly from your mind to theirs. When you explain complex concepts in plain language, you invite people to listen deeply rather than struggle to keep up. Using simple words does not mean dumbing down your message or being less intelligent. It means respecting your audience enough to meet them where they are. It means focusing on the heart of the idea, without unnecessary clutter. The clearer your communication, the more impact you have. People do not need you to confuse them with fancy vocabulary. They need you to connect with them through straightforward speech. This is what builds trust and understanding. Most OFIS have experienced the frustration of listening to someone who sounds smart but leaves us confused. They speak in long, winding sentences that require more effort than we can give. This creates distance. We stop paying attention. Our minds wander to easier things. That is why simplicity matters so much. It helps you hold attention. It helps your ideas stick. It makes your communication accessible to everyone regardless of background or education. The process of simplifying complex ideas begins with breaking them down into their basic parts. Identify the core message you want to convey. What is the one thing your listener must understand? Once you have that, find the simplest words to express it. Avoid technical terms or words that require explanation. Use everyday language that anyone can grasp. Imagine explaining your idea to a friend or family member who has no background in the topic. If you can do that clearly, you have succeeded. Another important step is to use examples and stories that relate to common experiences. People understand abstract ideas better when they can connect them to something familiar. Simple words combined with relatable examples create a powerful combination. They make your message come alive. They make learning easier and more enjoyable. This approach not only helps others understand you better, but also makes you a more confident speaker, because you are grounded in clear, simple explanations. People often overcomplicate their language because they fear being judged as not knowledgeable enough. This fear pushes them to use words that sound important, but confuse everyone. Overcoming this requires courage. It means accepting that true intelligence lies in making things simple, not complicated. Great communicators are those who can take the most difficult ideas and make them understandable to a wide audience. This is a skill that separates leaders from the crowd. Simple language also helps avoid misunderstandings. When people struggle to grasp what you say, they often fill in gaps with their own assumptions. This leads to confusion and errors. Clear communication leaves little room for misinterpretation. Because the meaning is obvious, your ideas become accessible rather than exclusive. This clarity builds stronger relationships because people feel included and valued. It is important to remember that simplicity in communication requires practice. We live in a world that values speed and complexity. Breaking the habit of using complicated language takes effort. Start by reviewing what you say or write. Identify words or phrases that might be replaced with simpler alternatives. Challenge yourself to explain key ideas in a sentence or two using everyday language. This exercise sharpens your ability to communicate clearly under pressure. Listening to great communicators can also help you develop this skill. Notice how they use simple words to make complex topics understandable. Pay attention to how they break down ideas and avoid unnecessary details. Emulate this style until it becomes natural. As you practice, you will find your confidence growing. You will discover that simplicity not only improves your communication, but also your thinking. Clear expression reflects clear thought. Simplicity also plays a crucial role when communicating and writing. Written words remain longer and are often revisited. Using straightforward language ensures your message is understood the first time and every time after. This is especially true in emails, reports, and presentations, where clarity is essential. Readers appreciate communication that respects their time, and intelligence writing simply is a way of showing respect and professionalism. Many successful people have mastered the art of simplicity. They understand that complicated language does not equate to success. Instead, they focus on delivering their ideas so that anyone can grasp them. This opens doors, builds influence, and fosters genuine connection. When you simplify your language, you step into the role of a teacher and a leader who guides others with clarity and kindness. There is also an emotional power in using simple words. They feel more authentic and heartfelt. When you strip away complicated phrases, your true voice shines through. People sense this honesty. They respond to it. Your message becomes not just heard but felt. This connection is the true mark of great communication. Do not underestimate the power of simple words to move people to action. When your message is clear and easy to understand, it becomes easier to follow. Simple language inspires confidence and motivates change. It breaks down resistance because it speaks directly to the heart. This makes your communication more effective and your influence greater. It is easy to get caught in the trap of overcomplicating your speech or writing, especially when you are passionate or nervous, but taking the time to choose simple words changes everything. It creates space for understanding and builds bridges instead of walls. It makes your ideas accessible and your presence powerful. Start focusing on simplicity today. Notice where you use complex language and challenge yourself to simplify it. Practice explaining difficult concepts in everyday terms. Pay attention to how people respond when you speak with clarity. Over time, this habit becomes a natural part of who you are. You become a communicator people trust and want to listen to, because you make the complicated simple. In a world full of noise and confusion, simplicity is a beacon. It cuts through distraction and connects you directly to your audience. Using simple words to express complex ideas is one of the most important steps toward mastering communication. It is a skill that will serve you in every conversation, every relationship, and every opportunity that comes your way. Chapter 5. Ask open-ended questions. To engage others more. Many people talk without truly connecting. Because their conversations stay on the surface, they ask questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no. This type of questioning shuts down dialogue. Instead of opening it up, it leaves little room for others to share their thoughts, feelings, and ideas. The reality is that real communication happens when both people feel invited to participate. Fully open-ended questions are the key to creating those deeper, more meaningful connections. These questions encourage others to think, reflect, and express themselves beyond simple facts or confirmations. They turn a conversation into an exchange, not a one-sided speech. Most conversations we have every day are rushed and transactional. We ask quick questions to get information and then move on. This leaves relationships shallow and communication weak. People feel unheard and unseen because the dialogue never dives beneath the surface. Open-ended questions change this dynamic. They say to the other person that you care about what they think and feel. They invite stories, opinions, and emotions. They create space for true understanding and empathy. Asking open-ended questions requires a shift in mindset. Instead of focusing on what you want to say next, you focus on what the other person wants to share. This means listening with curiosity rather than judgment. It means valuing the other person's perspective, even if it differs from your own. When you ask a question that cannot be answered with a simple yes or no, you signal that their voice matters. This encourages them to open up and be authentic. People often hesitate to ask open-ended questions because they fear silence or discomfort. They worry that the other person might not have an answer, or that the conversation will stall. But these pauses are natural and necessary. They give space for thought and reflection. The moment of silence after an open-ended question is an opportunity for deeper insight. Learning to be comfortable with these moments enhances the quality of your conversations. The power of open-ended questions lies in their ability to uncover feelings, motivations, and beliefs. They help reveal what truly matters to people. For example, instead of asking, "Did you have a good day?" which invites a yes or no, ask, "What was the best part of your day?" This encourages the person to share something meaningful and positive. It invites them to relive a moment of joy and connection. This simple shift transforms the tone and depth of the conversation. Another benefit of open-ended questions is that they foster problem-solving and creativity. When people explain their thoughts and ideas in detail, new perspectives emerge. Solutions that were not obvious before become visible. This is especially valuable in teamwork or leadership situations. Asking the right questions can unlock innovation and cooperation. It shows respect for the contributions of others and encourages collaboration. Effective communication also depends on the way questions are framed. Open-ended questions often begin with words like how, what, why, or tell me about thesis starters, invite explanation and reflection. They cannot be answered with one word. This forces a deeper level of engagement. The tone of voice matters too. Asking gently and sincerely makes people feel safe to share. Honestly, when questions are asked with genuine interest, walls come down and trust builds. Using open-ended questions regularly trains your mind to think beyond surface-level interactions. It makes you more present in conversations. It shifts your focus from yourself to others. This practice expands your empathy and emotional intelligence. You become a better listener and a more effective communicator. People naturally respond to your interest and openness by sharing more freely. Many relationships suffer because people feel disconnected or misunderstood. Open-ended questions are a powerful tool to heal these gaps. They invite others to express their inner world and feel valued. This creates emotional bonds that go beyond words. When people feel heard deeply, they trust more and open up more. This strengthens friendships, family ties, and professional relationships alike. In challenging conversations, open-ended questions help de-escalate tension. Instead of reacting or assuming, you encourage dialogue. You invite others to explain their point of view without feeling attacked. This opens a path toward mutual understanding and resolution. Questions that ask for clarification or feelings help calm heated moments and bring clarity to confusion. Mastering the art of asking open-ended questions requires practice. Start by noticing the questions you ask in everyday conversations. Identify those that limit responses and work on changing them. Experiment with different question starters. Observe how people respond and what changes in the flow of conversation. This feedback will guide your growth. As a communicator, there is also an important balance to maintain. Asking too many questions or asking them too quickly can feel like an interrogation. The key is to be natural and responsive. Blend questions with statements and reflections. Allow the conversation to flow both ways. Open-ended questions are tools to invite dialogue, not to control it. Over time, the habit of asking thoughtful, open-ended questions becomes second nature. It transforms how you connect with people. Conversations become richer, more engaging, and more meaningful. This change impacts every area of your life. Whether you are talking with a colleague, a friend, or a stranger, you create moments of genuine connection. The ability to engage others through open-ended questions is a sign of emotional intelligence and leadership. It shows that you value people as whole human beings, not just as sources of information. This respect builds influence and trust naturally. When others feel that you care enough to listen deeply, they respond with loyalty and openness. Developing this skill requires more than just learning the right words. It demands a genuine interest in others and a willingness to be present. When your heart is in the conversation, your questions carry power. They become invitations for connection, growth, and understanding. Communication is not just about talking. It is about creating a shared space where ideas and feelings can be exchanged freely. Open-ended questions are the keys that unlock that space. They bring depth, clarity, and warmth to every interaction. This makes your communication not only effective, but also meaningful. Choosing to ask open-ended questions changes the energy of your conversations. It transforms routine exchanges into opportunities for discovery and connection. It moves you from speaking at people to speaking with people. This shift is where true communication and understanding begin. In a world full of distractions and superficial talk, the practice of asking open-ended questions stands out. It shows that you are willing to slow down and invest in real dialogue. This commitment to deeper communication strengthens relationships and creates lasting impact. The effort to engage others more by asking open-ended questions is one of the most valuable investments you can make. It nurtures empathy, trust, and connection. It turns conversations into opportunities for learning and growth. When you master this skill, you become a communicator who inspires, connects, and leads. Chapter 6. Record yourself speaking and review for improvement. Many people face the same challenge when trying to improve their communication skills. They speak and hope they sound clear and confident, but they rarely know how they truly come across to others. This is a hard truth that almost everyone encounters without seeing or hearing ourselves from another perspective. It is nearly impossible to understand our strengths and weaknesses in communication. The voice in our head and the voice others hear can be very different. Most people underestimate how they sound or how their message lands. That is why recording yourself speaking and reviewing it is one of the most powerful tools for growth. When a person hears their own voice played back, it is often a surprise. The pitch, the tone, the speed, and even the way they pronounce words can feel unfamiliar. This experience can be uncomfortable, but it is essential. It shines a bright light on what needs to improve. For instance, many speak too quickly without realizing it, rushing through words so that the message becomes lost. Others might have a monotone voice that fails to engage the listener. Some may use filler words like or like frequently, which distract from the message. These habits go unnoticed until heard in a recording. Recording yourself forces you to become an objective observer. It removes the bias of your own thoughts and feelings while speaking. This perspective is invaluable. Instead of guessing, you see and hear exactly what others experience. This honest feedback is the foundation for making real progress. Improvement cannot happen in the dark. It requires light, and recordings provide that clarity. The first step in using this method is to find a quiet place where you can speak clearly without interruption. This might be a room at home, an office, or even a private corner somewhere. Use a simple recording device. Even a smartphone works well. The content can be anything: a short speech, a personal story, or a presentation. The key is to speak naturally, as if talking to someone in front of you. This authentic style shows your true communication patterns. Once the recording is made, play it back with full attention. Listen, not just to the words, but to how they are delivered. Pay close attention to tone, volume, and pacing. Notice if you sound confident or hesitant. Observe any distracting habits like mumbling, unclear pronunciation, or excessive pauses. This detailed listening allows you to identify exactly what to work on. It is important to take notes during the review process. Write down specific areas that need improvement and strengths to build upon. This helps organize your efforts and track progress over time. It also provides motivation because you can see tangible changes after each recording session. Many people who adopt this practice find it encourages discipline and commitment to better communication. One of the greatest benefits of recording yourself is that it develops self-awareness. Communication is not just about what is said, but how it is said. Self-awareness is the ability to notice your own behavior and adjust it accordingly. When you hear your voice on a recording, you become aware of subtle cues that influence how your message is received. For example, a slight hesitation might undermine your confidence. Recognizing this allows you to practice speaking more smoothly and decisively. Another area to focus on when reviewing your recordings is emotional expression. Communication is powerful when feelings are conveyed genuinely. If your voice sounds flat or uninterested, listeners will lose attention. Recording reveals whether your enthusiasm, passion, or concern comes through. Adjusting the energy and emotion in your speech makes your message more compelling and memorable. Practicing with recordings also helps reduce anxiety about public speaking or difficult conversations. Many people fear how they sound or worry about making mistakes. Listening to yourself repeatedly builds familiarity and comfort with your voice. It creates a sense of control rather than fear. This preparation strengthens confidence and presence when speaking in front of others. A useful technique is to record the same message multiple times. Experimenting with different styles. Try varying your speed, tone, and volume. Notice which versions sound the most clear and engaging. This trial and error process deepens your understanding of effective communication techniques. It allows you to discover your authentic voice while refining your delivery. Sharing your recordings with a trusted friend or mentor can add another layer of feedback. Sometimes others hear things you miss. Constructive criticism helps sharpen your skills even further. This external perspective balances your self-assessment and guides focused improvement. Consistency is crucial when using recording as a tool for communication growth. One recording will not transform your skills overnight. It requires regular practice and review. Set a schedule to record and listen to yourself weekly or daily if possible. This steady effort creates lasting change. Over time, your voice becomes more confident, clear, and engaging. Your ability to express ideas improves and your presence grows stronger. Recording yourself also helps improve nonverbal communication. When you watch video recordings, you can observe your body language, facial expressions, and gestures. These visual cues support or weaken your spoken message. Awareness of these elements helps you adjust to appear more open and confident. Nonverbal signals play a major role in how others perceive you, so refining them is essential. This method is practical and accessible. It does not require expensive equipment or formal training. Anyone with a phone can start recording right now. The challenge is to commit to honest evaluation and continuous improvement. The discomfort of hearing yourself at first will fade as you focus on growth. The results will be worth the effort. Ultimately, recording yourself speaking bridges the gap between how you think you communicate and how you actually communicate. It turns assumptions into facts and guesses into plans. This clarity accelerates your progress in building strong communication skills. When you know exactly what to work on, you use your time wisely and achieve results faster. This practice not only improves your words, but your entire presence. It shapes how you show up in conversations, meetings, and presentations. Your voice becomes a tool for influence, rather than a source of worry. With each recording, you step closer to becoming the confident communicator you want to be. The journey to mastering communication begins with self-observation. The willingness to record and listen to yourself is a sign of commitment and courage. It shows that you are serious about growth and ready to face your weaknesses head on. This honest effort lays the foundation for powerful, authentic communication that inspires and connects. Taking control of your communication through recording is one of the most effective strategies for personal and professional success. It builds confidence, clarity, and presence. It sharpens your ability to engage, persuade, and lead. This simple yet profound habit changes the way you express yourself and how others receive your message. Chapter 7. Improve body language to support your message. Many people struggle to get their message across clearly because their body language does not match their words. It is a common reality that too often people say one thing, But their posture, gestures, and facial expressions tell a different story. This disconnect creates confusion and weakens the impact of what they want to communicate. Body language is not a side note in communication. It is a powerful force that can either strengthen your message or undermine it entirely. People pick up on unspoken signals in every interaction, often more than on the actual word spoken. When someone is slouched or avoiding eye contact, the listener senses insecurity or disinterest, even if the speaker's words are confident and positive. On the other hand, standing tall, using deliberate hand movements and smiling at appropriate moments adds credibility and warmth to your message. The truth is that body language often communicates feelings and intentions more effectively than words. Your physical presence can either invite connection or push people away. Improving body language starts with becoming aware of how your body behaves while you speak. Many people are unaware that they might be crossing their arms, shifting weight nervously, or fidgeting with their hands. These small habits signal discomfort or defensiveness. Becoming conscious of these patterns is the first step toward change. Awareness allows you to take control over your nonverbal cues. One of the simplest and most effective adjustments is to maintain an open posture. This means keeping your arms relaxed and uncrossed, shoulders back, but not stiff and standing or sitting upright. An open posture projects confidence and approachability. It encourages others to listen and engage because it shows you are present and ready to connect. Closed or tense postures create barriers, whether intentionally or not, and can shut down communication. Hand gestures are another key part of body language that support your message. Using your hands to emphasize points makes your words more memorable. Gestures help paint a mental picture for the listener. They can highlight important ideas and add energy to your speech. But it is important that gestures feel natural and purposeful. Overdoing it or using repetitive, meaningless movements distracts rather than helps. Facial expressions are a window into your emotions and attitudes. When your face matches your message, people sense honesty and authenticity. Smiling when sharing good news or showing concern with your eyes when discussing a serious topic draws people in. It makes your communication feel human and relatable. A blank or inappropriate expression can confuse or distance your audience. Eye contact is a crucial element of body language that cannot be overlooked. It builds trust and creates an immediate bond between speaker and listener. When you look someone in the eyes, you show respect and confidence. Avoiding eye contact can make you seem unsure or dishonest, even if your words say otherwise. Good eye contact is steady but natural, not staring or glancing away too often. The pace of your movements also matters. Moving too quickly or abruptly can signal nervousness or impatience. Slow, deliberate gestures and calm breathing communicate control and thoughtfulness. When your body moves in harmony with your voice, your entire message feels stronger and more convincing. Practicing in front of a mirror or recording your body language can reveal areas to improve. Watching yourself helps you notice distracting habits and refine your posture and gestures. You can experiment with different ways of standing and moving to find what feels genuine and effective. Self-practice builds muscle memory so that positive body language becomes automatic. Matching your body language to your spoken words is vital for clear communication. When the two align, your message becomes consistent and believable. For example, if you say you are excited about an idea but your arms are crossed and your face is tense, the listener will feel the contradiction and doubt your sincerity. When your body reinforces your speech, you increase your influence and ability to connect. Body language also plays a role in managing your own emotions during conversations. When you notice yourself tensing up or slouching, you can consciously adjust to stand taller and breathe deeply. These changes help reduce stress and boost confidence. Controlling your physical state helps control your mental state, making you more composed and effective. Another important aspect is being sensitive to the body language of others. Communication is a two-way street. Observing how the listener reacts to your words gives clues about their feelings and understanding. If someone looks confused or uncomfortable, you can adjust your message or tone. Reading nonverbal signals improves your ability to respond and connect meaningfully. Cultural differences affect body language, so it is important to be aware of how gestures and expressions may be interpreted in different settings. What is friendly in one culture might be rude in another. Being respectful and observant helps avoid misunderstandings and builds rapport across diverse groups. Improving body language is not about pretending to be someone you are not, and it is about enhancing your natural presence so that it supports your true message. Authenticity combined with confident, open body language creates powerful communication that touches hearts and minds. People respond to honesty, expressed through words and actions. Body language influences the energy in a room. When you carry yourself with confidence and openness, you raise the energy and invite engagement. Your listeners become more attentive and responsive. This energy fuels better conversations and stronger relationships. You create an environment where ideas flow and connections deepen. Every conversation is an opportunity to practice and improve your body language. Small adjustments made consistently will build up over time. You will find yourself feeling more comfortable speaking in groups, leading meetings, and having one-on-one talks. Your presence becomes a tool that commands respect and attention. The journey to better communication requires effort, but changing your body language is one of the quickest ways to see results. It affects how you feel inside and how others perceive you outside. By investing time in mastering this skill, you lay the foundation for more meaningful interactions and greater personal success. Your body speaks louder than words in every moment you communicate. Taking charge of your physical presence empowers your voice and sharpens your message. The confidence you build through improved body language will open doors and create opportunities in every area of life. It is a skill worth developing with focus and persistence. When your body tells the same story as your words, you become a compelling communicator. Your ideas land clearly, your intentions shine through, and your relationships grow stronger. This harmony between what you say and how you carry yourself is the secret to lasting influence and respect. It transforms ordinary conversations into powerful moments of connection. Chapter 8. Read aloud daily to strengthen verbal clarity. It is a hard truth that many people struggle to express their thoughts clearly when speaking because they have not practiced the basic skill of reading aloud. Speaking well does not come naturally to everyone. Most people think communication is just about knowing what to say. The reality is that how you say it matters just as much as what you say. The clarity of your voice, your pronunciation, and your pacing all shape how your message is received. When your words are jumbled or mumbled, listeners lose interest or misunderstand your meaning. The frustration that comes from this is real and common. Reading aloud every day is a simple but powerful way to build verbal clarity. It trains your mouth and voice to work together smoothly. It strengthens your ability to form sounds and speak with precision. Reading aloud also sharpens your attention to sentence flow and helps you become comfortable with different types of language. Many people avoid reading out loud because it feels awkward or embarrassing, yet this practice is one of the best ways to gain confidence and improve communication skills. When you read aloud, your brain works differently than when you read silently. You hear the words spoken and experience their rhythm and tone. This feedback helps you notice stumbling points or unclear phrases. You can then correct these issues and learn to speak more smoothly. Reading aloud forces you to slow down and pronounce words fully. This deliberate practice improves your enunciation and reduces mumbling. Selecting a variety of reading materials is essential. Books, articles, speeches, and even poetry offer different sentence structures and vocabulary. This variety challenges your vocal muscles and broadens your language skills. As you tackle more challenging material, you build mental flexibility and verbal agility. Over time, your ability to speak clearly and confidently in everyday conversations improves. In addition to clarity, reading aloud enhances your vocal expression. Your voice becomes more dynamic as you learn to adjust pitch and volume. This makes your speech more interesting and engaging. A monotonous voice loses attention quickly. When your voice carries emotion and energy, people are drawn in and more likely to listen closely. Reading stories or speeches aloud lets you practice conveying feelings through your tone. Another benefit is that daily reading aloud builds endurance in your voice. Speaking for extended periods can be tiring if your vocal muscles are weak. Regular practice conditions your voice to stay strong without strain. This is especially important for public speaking or professional settings where you need to communicate for longer stretches. A strong voice signals confidence and authority, which commands respect. Reading aloud also helps improve your memory and focus. When you vocalize sentences, you engage multiple senses: visual, auditory, and vocal. This multi-sensory engagement strengthens neural connections related to language and comprehension. It trains your brain to process information more efficiently and recall it better when needed. Improved memory and focus support better communication, because you can express ideas clearly and stay on track in conversations. Many who practice reading aloud find they become more comfortable with their natural voice. People often try to hide or change their voice because of insecurity. Reading aloud regularly fosters acceptance and confidence in how you sound. This self-acceptance is crucial for authentic communication. When you speak with genuine voice and clear words, your message becomes more powerful and believable. Recording yourself while reading aloud is a helpful step for improvement. Listening back allows you to catch unclear words, awkward pauses, or flat tones. It gives you a chance to make conscious adjustments and track progress over time. Self-rebuilds awareness of how you sound and what changes produce better clarity and engagement. Reading aloud can be integrated into daily routines easily. Whether it is a few minutes in the morning during breaks or before bedtime, consistency matters more than duration. Committing to this simple habit produces noticeable improvements. It takes away the anxiety of speaking because you are regularly exercising the muscles and skills needed to speak clearly. Many professionals, including actors, broadcasters, and leaders, credit reading aloud as a foundational tool for effective communication. They understand that clear verbal expression requires constant practice. It is not a skill you develop once and forget. Instead, it needs nurturing and reinforcement. The good news is that reading aloud does not require special equipment or a classroom. Anyone can start today. People who read aloud regularly notice they become better listeners too. When you practice forming words and sentences aloud, you become more attentive to the speech of others. This awareness enhances your ability to respond thoughtfully and with clarity. Strong communication is not just about speaking, but about understanding and reacting appropriately. In moments of nervousness or stress, clear speech can falter. Having a habit of reading aloud builds a reservoir of calm and control over your voice. You learn to regulate your breathing and pace, which prevents rushed or clipped speech. This control over your voice increases your presence and makes you appear more confident. Choosing material that interests you increases motivation to keep this habit. It could be a favorite novel, a motivational article, or even a speech by someone you admire. When you enjoy what you read aloud, the practice feels less like work and more like personal growth. Over time, you will notice your voice carrying more authority and your words landing with precision. Strong verbal clarity opens doors in every area of life. It helps you succeed in interviews, presentations, meetings, and casual conversations. People are drawn to clear speakers because they are easier to understand and trust. Improving your voice clarity through reading aloud is an investment that pays dividends in your relationships and career. As you develop this skill, you will find it easier to organize your thoughts and deliver them with confidence. Your ability to communicate effectively will increase naturally. The simple act of reading aloud daily will build a foundation for lifelong improvement in how you speak. It transforms communication from a struggle into an opportunity to inspire, persuade, and connect deeply with others. Chapter 9. Expand your vocabulary through consistent reading. A tough reality most people face is feeling limited by their own words when trying to express important thoughts or ideas. It happens all the time. You know what you want to say, but the right words seem just out of reach. This struggle frustrates and discourages many from speaking confidently. The truth is that our ability to communicate is tightly linked to the words we have at our disposal. A small vocabulary narrows your options and leaves your message flat and unconvincing. Without a wide range of words, your thoughts can become stuck, making conversations feel shallow or repetitive. Expanding your vocabulary is not about memorizing fancy words just to sound smart. It is about giving yourself the tools to express ideas clearly, precisely, and with the right emotion. When you have more words to choose from, you can tailor your message to the situation and the listener. A rich vocabulary allows you to connect more deeply because you can find words that resonate and paint a clearer picture in the minds of others. Consistent reading is one of the most effective and accessible ways to grow your vocabulary over time. Reading regularly exposes you to new words naturally, whether it is novels, newspapers, magazines, or online articles. Each new sentence has the potential to introduce you to expressions and language you might not encounter in daily speech. When you meet unfamiliar words in context, it becomes easier to understand their meaning and how to use them. Unlike trying to learn words from lists, reading presents words alive and active within real ideas, making them easier to remember. The habit of reading should be more than a casual glance or skimming. It requires attention and curiosity. Taking the time to notice words that are unfamiliar or interesting helps you commit them to memory. Writing down new words and their meanings creates a personalized vocabulary bank you can return to and practice using. This process strengthens your language skills and gradually adds richness to your communication. Another crucial aspect of vocabulary expansion is understanding how words function differently depending on context. The same word can carry different feelings or levels of formality. Reading across various genres and topics broadens your awareness of these nuances. It helps you learn not only new words, but also the right time and place to use them. This knowledge prevents awkward or confusing communication and increases your ability to adapt your language to any situation. A larger vocabulary also supports better thinking. When you can name your thoughts clearly, you can organize ideas more effectively and solve problems with more precision. Many people do not realize how much their limited vocabulary can hold back their reasoning. Consistent reading strengthens mental clarity and sharpens your ability to articulate complex thoughts simply and directly. Vocabulary is not just about nouns and adjectives. Verbs and adverbs are just as important because they bring action and detail to your sentences. As you expand your vocabulary, you gain tools to describe not only objects but also processes, emotions, and nuances. This makes your speech and writing more vivid and engaging. When your words evoke clear images and feelings, listeners are more likely to stay interested and be moved by your message. The pace of your vocabulary growth depends on how often and how deeply you read. Daily reading sessions, even if short, build momentum and reinforce learning. Over time, you will notice your speech becomes more varied and interesting without forcing. New words will come to mind naturally when you talk or write. This effortless use of a broad vocabulary signals mastery and confidence. It is important to remember that expanding vocabulary is a lifelong journey. No one ever reaches a point where there are no new words to learn. The language around us changes constantly, and every new book or conversation can introduce fresh expressions. This means there is always room to improve and refine your communication skills. Using new words in conversation or writing is key to making them part of your active vocabulary. It is not enough to recognize a word, you must practice it. Finding opportunities to speak or write with your expanded vocabulary builds confidence and helps you internalize the words over time. This practice improves your ability to think quickly and express yourself clearly in any situation. People who read widely and consistently tend to be more curious and open-minded. This openness fuels personal growth and makes communication more meaningful. When you read about different cultures, ideas, and experiences, you gain insight that enriches your conversations and relationships. Your expanded vocabulary becomes a bridge that connects you to others on a deeper level. An expanded vocabulary is a powerful tool for leadership and influence. Leaders who communicate well inspire trust and respect. They use words that motivate action and create a vision others want to follow. When your vocabulary grows, you develop the ability to inspire with clarity and purpose. Your words become more than sounds. They become catalysts for change. It is natural to feel overwhelmed when trying to improve vocabulary. Many people think it requires years of study or complicated techniques. The reality is simpler. Consistent reading combined with genuine interest in language produces steady progress. The key is to start with manageable steps and build the habit. Even a few new words each week add up over months and years. Surrounding yourself with written material that challenges you is vital. Avoid only reading things that feel easy or repetitive. Push yourself to explore different authors, styles, and subjects. This variety will prevent boredom and accelerate vocabulary growth. The effort you invest in reading today pays off in clearer and more effective communication tomorrow. Another benefit of expanding vocabulary through reading is improved listening skills. When you hear others use words, you recognize and understand, you can respond more thoughtfully and keep the conversation flowing. This creates stronger connections and shows respect for the speaker's ideas. A broad vocabulary makes dialogue more rewarding and less stressful. You will also find that expanding your vocabulary makes public speaking easier. When you stand before a group, having a rich word bank helps you avoid hesitation and filler words. You can select the perfect word for every moment, keeping your audience engaged and impressed. This fluency signals confidence and preparation. In summary, the process of expanding vocabulary through consistent reading is one of the most effective ways to improve your overall communication skills. It is a step toward clearer thinking, stronger relationships, and greater influence. The commitment to this habit transforms how you speak and listen. The power of your words grows with every page you read and every new expression you embrace. Chapter 10. Seek feedback regularly. To sharpen communication habits, most people underestimate how much they can improve their communication simply by asking others for honest feedback. It is a hard truth that many get stuck communicating the same way for years without realizing their habits might be holding them back. They believe their style is good enough or that others will just understand them as they are. But real growth comes from stepping outside your own perspective and inviting others to tell you what works and what does not. Feedback is a mirror reflecting your communication blind spots that you cannot see on your own. Without it, improvement becomes guesswork and often slow or non-existent. Seeking feedback requires humility and courage. It means admitting that your communication is not perfect and that you are willing to learn and adapt. Many people avoid feedback because they fear criticism or believe it will be negative. Yet feedback, when welcomed and used wisely, is a powerful tool for growth. It provides specific information about how others perceive your message, your tone, your clarity, and your presence. This knowledge allows you to make intentional adjustments that sharpen your skills and increase your influence. To get the most from feedback, it must come from trusted sources who observe your communication in real situations. This can be co-workers, friends, mentors, or family members who see how you speak and interact daily. These people can provide honest opinions about your strengths and weaknesses. When asking for feedback, it's important to be specific about what you want to improve, rather than a general question like, "How do I communicate?" Ask targeted questions such as, "Do I come across as clear when I explain ideas?" Or, "How do you feel when I speak in meetings?" Specific questions encourage detailed responses that guide your development. It is equally important to create an environment where the feedback giver feels safe to be truthful. People are more likely to give helpful input when they know you appreciate their honesty and are not defensive. Showing gratitude for feedback, even if it stings, reinforces that you are serious about growing over time. This openness builds trust and encourages ongoing communication that benefits both parties. Listening carefully to feedback without interrupting or explaining yourself is another critical skill. Often when we hear criticism, the natural response is to defend or justify. This reaction blocks learning. Instead, absorb the feedback fully and ask clarifying questions if needed. Understanding the specific behaviors or words that need adjustment is the first step to improvement. Sometimes feedback reveals habits you were unaware of, such as speaking too quickly, using filler words, or failing to engage your audience emotionally. Once you identify these, you can develop a focused plan to change them. Feedback should be viewed as a continuous cycle, not a one-time event. Regularly checking in with others about your communication helps track progress and prevents slipping back into old patterns. This ongoing process sharpens your awareness and makes improvement natural. When feedback becomes part of your routine, it transforms from a chore into a valuable learning habit that fuels success. Recording your conversations or presentations can complement feedback from others. Reviewing your own recordings allows you to hear your tone, pace, and word choices objectively. This practice uncovers patterns and habits that may not be obvious in the moment. When combined with external feedback, self-review gives a fuller picture of where to focus your efforts. It is also useful to reflect on feedback carefully and decide which advice fits your style and goals. Not all feedback will apply or resonate. Some suggestions might clash with your personality or communication objectives. The key is to filter feedback thoughtfully and take action on what genuinely improves your connection with others. This selective process ensures your communication remains authentic while growing stronger. Sometimes seeking feedback reveals deeper emotional blocks that interfere with communication. For example, fear of judgment, insecurity, or past negative experiences can create resistance to change. Recognizing these emotional barriers is part of the journey. Overcoming them requires patience and sometimes support from mentors or coaches. The willingness to face these challenges head-on differentiates those who improve from those who stay stuck. Another advantage of regularly seeking feedback is the opportunity to build stronger relationships. When you invite others to help you grow, it demonstrates respect and trust. This openness encourages others to communicate more honestly with you as well. It creates a positive cycle where feedback flows both ways, enriching mutual understanding and cooperation. For professionals, feedback on communication skills often impacts career growth. Leaders who listen to how they are perceived and adjust accordingly tend to inspire better teams and gain more influence. Clear and confident communicators earn respect and open doors to new opportunities. In contrast, those who ignore feedback may limit their advancement or cause misunderstandings that damage relationships. The habit of seeking feedback applies to every form of communication. Whether you are speaking one-on-one, leading a meeting, writing an email, or presenting to a group, there is always room to improve. Asking questions about clarity, tone, engagement, and impact helps you refine every interaction. It also sharpens your ability to give constructive feedback to others, a vital skill in any team or leadership role. Some people hesitate to seek feedback because they worry it will highlight too many flaws or make them feel inadequate. Yet feedback should never be about criticism for its own sake. It is about learning and growth. With the right mindset, every piece of feedback becomes an opportunity to get better and stronger. Embracing this mindset shifts your relationship with communication from a source of stress to a source of empowerment. You will find that as you act on feedback, your confidence grows. Communication becomes easier and more natural. People respond more positively to your messages because you are clearer, more engaging, and more attuned to their needs. This progress creates motivation to keep improving. The cycle of seeking feedback, learning, and applying changes builds momentum that accelerates your development. Faster than practicing alone, feedback also uncovers blind spots in nonverbal communication, such as body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. These subtle cues influence how your message is received. Others can help you notice if you seem distracted, unapproachable, or unsure. Awareness of these signals gives you the chance to align your body language with your words, creating a consistent and powerful presence. Asking for feedback regularly sets an example for others to follow. When you model openness to learning, you inspire people around you to do the same. This creates a culture of continuous improvement that benefits everyone. Whether in a family, workplace, or social group, communication improves collectively when feedback is welcomed and acted upon. Developing the discipline to seek feedback requires commitment. It is easy to avoid because it can be uncomfortable, but the cost of ignoring feedback is stagnation. The people who excel at communication are those who see feedback as a gift, not a threat. They use it to sharpen their skills and deepen their connections. Their progress is visible in every conversation, presentation, and relationship. They